often when we're using books with children, we're using them to help with their literacy, their print awareness, but we can also use them to help with communication skills. And this can mean just changing the way that we use the book slightly. So instead of maybe focusing on looking at every page and all the words and sentences, what we might focus more on is creating as many opportunities as possible for children to use their thinking, problem solving and communication skills. So I'm just going to use this book, Giraffes Can't Dance, as an example of how you might do this, but really any of the suggestions you can use with any children's books. And the title page or the cover page is a pretty good place to start. So you can encourage children, depending on their age and level of reading ability, to look at the title, to pay attention to the picture, and to start thinking about what the book might be about. So what the key topic or message of the book might be. And you can help children by making some comments or asking some questions. So for example, you could say, the title of this book is Giraffes Can't Dance. I wonder, does that mean giraffes find dancing easy or find it a bit tricky? You could also draw attention to the picture on the front cover, which shows the giraffe dancing. And again, you could make a comment like, oh, the title is Giraffes Can't Dance, but this giraffe looks like he's doing lots of dancing. So maybe it's a book about giraffes learning to dance. So in this way, we're getting children to start to think about what the book might be about and prepare themselves for what they're going to be hearing. If we think about the content of the book, again, not everything is spelled out in the book. Sometimes there can be opportunities for children to make some guesses using the information that they see on the page. And this is a really good skill to develop for problem solving in school in general. So you can encourage your child to have a look at this picture and ask them to think about where do they think the story is taking place. Again, you can help with prompts like, oh, it looks like it's somewhere very hot. Animals like giraffes live in this place. Oh, and there's lots of trees. I wonder where this might be. And again, if your child needs a little bit more help, you might try and link it to something that they already know about. So for example, this story is happening in a jungle, so you might use a reminder of something like The Lion King and where Simba lives to help your child start to think about those kind of places in their head. Then if we continue through the book, there are some other nice opportunities. So here we're on the page where there is the annual jungle dance. And this could be a nice time to start to explain to your child what something happening once a year means. So you might get them to think about what are things that happen in their lives just once a year. So maybe their birthday or Christmas. If you wanted, you could use a calendar to show them that once a year, or you could introduce the term annually if they're a little bit older, means that something happens one time in 12 months. You could extend this by then starting to think about, well, what are things that happen twice a year, or maybe happen every month or every week. And again, you could look at filling this in on a personal calendar if you wanted, or just giving them lots of opportunities to talk about things that happen with different time frequencies. The other nice thing about books is that they introduce children to vocabulary that can be very useful, but that they might not hear in their everyday lives. So for example, on this page, there is a sentence, hey, look at clumsy Gerald. Now clumsy is a word we might not use every day with children, but it is quite a useful one to know. So you might explain to them in your own words what this word means, maybe giving some examples of a time when they've seen something happen that was clumsy. So for example, oh, remember last week when I dropped my keys and I dropped my bag, I felt I was being really clumsy. I felt a bit awkward. So that can be a nice way of helping children tune into new words and understand these words. It can also be nice if you do pick a word from a book to really make an effort to repeat that word lots of times in situations outside of the book. So within daily life, within other books, maybe if your child is watching a television program and an example comes up. Because we do know that particularly for children who might find language a little bit more difficult to learn, they need lots and lots of repetition. And then when it comes to what you want your child to take from the story, there's a lot of words and a lot of pages and events within a story. So what is worth doing often before you start reading the story is think about what are the key points in the story that you want your child to take away from it so that they could retell this story to another person. So if we think about this story, Giraffes Can't Dance, I've gone through this, and for myself, I've just made up a little simple story map that has the key elements of it. And this would be, who's the story about? Gerald the giraffe. Where is it set? In the jungle. What's the big event that kicks off the story? So it's the annual or yearly jungle dance. And Gerald is feeling sad because he can't dance. So even though there's a lot of information before we get to that point in the story, that's the key bit that we want our children to tune into. So we're really going to emphasize those parts of the story. So then Gerald decides to leave the dance and go home. On his way, he meets a cricket who starts playing music on his violin, and Gerald can dance really well to this music. This makes him feel very happy, and all the other animals come along and clap and cheer and throw flowers at him. Gerald then feels very